Let's go.
Welcome back to the Superman podcast. I'm Matt McCabe and I'm joined by my co-host, Lionel O'Malley. Welcome, Lionel.
Thanks, Matty. It's great to jump back on another Superman podcast and choose some of the fat around super and what's going on in the industry at the moment, and catch back up on where we left off.
We have spent a bit of time together, mate, over the last week or two, haven't we? We've been away for a conference in Miami
We
with
sure have.
with MDRT and 6,000 other elite advisors from around the world.
Yeah, so I convinced Matty it was a good idea for the last couple of years that I've been going to this annual conference that's based in America and also Asia Pacific called the $1 Million Roundtable, and it's a global group of around 100,000 advisors that come together and share ideas and talk about our business and how we can sort of help our clients and progress as advisors and parents and community leaders at the same time. So eventually I've got Matt to come to the
I got there, mate. I got there.
You probably went to the one that's the most furthest away in Miami in America, but we've just come back from there. It's our first week back in the office, and me and Matt's actually roomed together for 5 nights together. So definitely got to know Matty a lot better the last 5 days.
You're welcome, mate. You're welcome.
So Matty, coming back from the conference, but how do you feel coming back from the conference? What's the energy like now?
Energy is pretty high despite the jet lag, mate. I'm struggling around 4 o'clock every hour. But yeah, just new ideas, just challenging my vision and what I had for my business. That's been pretty powerful for me, reflecting on that, and just understanding that others have been through what we're going through in business, Lionel, and in life as well, and just learning off their experiences and their mistakes as well, so we don't have to do them.
Yeah, it was good catching up with the other advisors I found from all over the world, and especially the guys from Australia as well. There's around 50 advisors that travelled over from Australia this year. There's a good group of advisors from Sydney, a number of advisors from Melbourne, from Queensland, from South Australia, and also the guys that came over from New Zealand as well. So we had an Anzac night, it's called, on a Tuesday night, where the Anzacs, the Australian New Zealand advisors, come together and we put on a bit of a party for everyone, which was good. And Matty, we got to symbolise our identity, I would say, from Australia this year by
national pride.
National pride. We created a MDRT baggy green, which symbolised the elite of the elite in the financial planning profession when Matty was presented with his MDRT baggy green, and he wore it with pride as well.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, mate. All the Aussies wearing our baggy greens. What did you get out of it, mate? What was one of your golden nuggets out of the conference?
I've got a been to a couple of the events now over the last couple of years, and some of the information gets repeated over time. One of the things that I did notice was the adaptation and how to adapt to AI, artificial intelligence, in your business, and how you can sort of scale your business and become more efficient with your business. And one of the things that I heard one of the speakers say is that AI is going to help advisors, us, to become more human. So it's going to take us away from having to do a lot of the note-taking and information and all that sort of stuff, where it's
administration stuff, right?
A lot of the administration stuff. So we can spend more time doing podcasts like this, educating our clients and future clients, or future people in the community, but also at the same time allow us to spend more time with our clients rather than sitting behind the computer all the time, being bogged down by compliance and administration and red tape. So yeah, that was one of the main things I took away from it, was making sure you're adapting to AI and how you can actually use it to be more efficient, more effective, and more accurate.
Very good.
But yeah, I took a number of notes when I was over there. I think it was around 29 pages of notes I took. I don't think I took as many as Matty because it was his first conference. How many notes did you take?
Mate, a whole notebook. What have we got? 140 pages or something.
Jeez.
But yeah. getting through it now, getting through it and trying to transcribe it back into the key points, Lionel,
Yeah.
which has been fun.
Yeah. So now, off the back of that, we're pretty much just working out your little nuggets of gold that you've taken away to help implement into your business. One of mine was one of the speakers was a guy that owned 11 Madison Park, which is a restaurant in New York City. And he talked about his experience from taking the restaurant from number 50 in the world to number 1 in a couple of years, and what their process was, how to do that. And what it all boiled down to was the clients and customer experience and how he made them feel. It wasn't about the food. The food was part of the process, but it was how the clients were made, how they were filled. So now we're going into our business now to talk about our client touch points, how often we talk to people, what our process is, and how often we can change the way that we do some things going forward to make it a better client experience.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Very good.
But as we do come back into the land of Oz, Matty, it's the end of the financial year and it's the start of a new financial year just as we record this. And there is a lot of buzz around at the moment around superannuation. So
There is, mate. Super's under siege. And everyone's asking, are we losing control of our future? So there's been a report from the Grattan Institute, Lionel, talking about simpler super. More or less, they're talking about changing the taxation of super, removing the tax-free status, restricting people getting lump sums out of super when they retire, and defaulting to an income stream. So really limiting the choice around individuals. Then we've got the other report, which came through from Treasury in November last year, where the government's focusing on more or less similar concepts around that.
Do you want to talk about those first 4 points, Bart, about the Grattan Institute, simpler super? What's your view on the first one? Taxing all super in retirement at 15% and ending the current tax-free status. Man, that is like brain explosion. What?
I think it's just changing the goalpost, right? I think politicians' point of view, they have seen a large pool of assets which they can dip into and get a tax grab from.
Which is at the moment, it's $4.129 trillion. It's the fastest growing superannuation retirement savings pool of funds in the world.
Yeah. So politicians are just short-sighted, seeing we can do a cash grab here, turn everyone's tax-free status off, boost the coffers, and go waste the money elsewhere. I don't think that's the answer, just changing the goalposts on people, Lionel, or restricting how they get access to their capital either. Saying, no, if you've got a mortgage at retirement, you can't take a lump sum out to pay for it. You need an income stream. I don't think it works. I don't like the report and some of the recommendations at the back of it. They're just limiting people's choice and telling people, more dictating to people what to do. Whereas my side of things, and probably yours as well, Lionel, is more education. How do we educate people more? How do we increase the financial literacy of Australians to empower them to make better decisions?
And that's on that thing of education. Last night, there was a SBS Insight recording on TV through a number of different people giving their opinions and their viewpoints on the super future. So the future of super and how it's impacting people and getting it from everyday Australians to professionals to economists to another. There's another financial planner in there as well. But a lot of the people that are actually there giving their opinions away and their ideas, information away there, was their opinion and their experience so far with super. And one of the key things that came out of all of it is the lack of information and education that our schooling system, and the system actually provides to people to help them understand the whole thing, because there was a financial planner in there talking about index and industry funds and diversified funds and all this jargon and
Yep.
confusing everyone on how they actually can help manage the system and help them make decisions. And I think that's what you and I do the best, is all this complex noise around the superannuation system. We keep it very simple and simplify it right down and take the complex into a simple area. So, but one of the big thing there was everyone saying their poor choices earlier on are there to blame now because they don't have much in super.
Yep.
And their education and what they done with their money earlier on in the years was they're sort of crying poor because they didn't make the right decisions earlier on or had the education or the information at that point in time earlier on to make better decisions.
So playing the victim card, more or less.
Big time victim card, yeah.
Not putting their hand up, taking responsibility, saying, this is my money. I need to learn, understand what's going on.
And to be honest, there was an economist on there as well. And you'd be shocked about what he was saying about the whole, what his viewpoint on superannuation was. And he thought a bit, his idea was to scrap it, and he thought people could save their money themselves, which in fact, superannuation is a forced savings to help people save for retirement.
Correct.
Which eventually at some stage in the long distant future, it will put less pressure on the social security system. So the government don't have to spend as much money on social security and people look after themselves. When he's saying, oh, people should be able to access their money themselves and use the money when they want because they can save. I mean, not everyone in the system or in Australia has the discipline to save money. That's just for an example. When COVID came around and they said, oh, you can take out X amount of dollars for your super account.
10 grand or something?
10 grand. There was 2 lots of 10 grand. And most of the money that they pulled out just went and got blown on rubbish, jet skis or this or that, or, you know what I mean? So I was like, how do you think people are going to be responsible if they're not educated at the start about, they should designate at school a particular area on personal finances, how to manage your personal finances, and going back to the old days where they used to use jars to use your cash flow.
Or envelopes. Yep.
Envelopes, you know what I mean? So that, and a lot of people from back in those days knew the value and the importance of money. Whereas these days it's just free flowing, cash here, cash there, spend this, spend
Well, there's no cash, so no one's actually physically seeing it, which could be part of the problem. It's all tap and go, right?
Yeah. So yeah, the future super side of things, Matty, was pretty eye-opening last night. Everyone should go and check it out.
I think the other point to it, Lionel, is we still haven't had the cohort or the generation of people retire that had compulsory super when they started.
No.
The compulsory super is 94, so those guys now are 45 to 50 years of age.
Yeah.
But they haven't retired yet. So everyone that's retired since hasn't had a full working life with superannuation.
And the superannuation component that actually started was 3%.
Yeah.
You look at where it is now, 3%,
12?
12% now at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you start in the workforce, you're getting 12% of your wage, plus the wages are a lot higher compared to what it was 30 years ago. It's that's where I sort of lead into the next thing. Matty was talking about that divisional 296, the $3 million cap.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Let's explain that, Lionel. Break it down.
Yeah. So Labor is bringing in this new rule for any individual. It hasn't been passed yet through legislation, but the proposal is any individual that has a balance of more than $3 million at the start of the financial year is going to be taxed on unrealized gains on the balance that's above $3 million. So technically, you're going to be paying an additional tax on your super funds on your balance when you haven't even transacted and you've sold no investments and just your balance has gone north of $3 million. So it's sort of de-incentivizing people from actually using the superannuation system for what it was actually usually provided for.
Yep.
And $3 million was the starting figure, but what they're doing is there's no indexation, which means the balance will never go up. So those people entering into the workforce now, today, and they work for the next 40 years, more than likely a majority of those people are going to have more than $3 million in their super account long term.
So a 20-year-old on 60 grand, Lionel, they'll have more than 3 million
Yeah,
in super by 60.
exactly right.
So
that's going to
saying it's only the rich, it's not the case.
at the moment. There's only 80,000 people that are in that category at the moment. Apparently, from the last financial year, it would have changed this.
But $3 million isn't that much if you're looking at generations that can't buy houses. If, let's say, this is how they're going to buy a house, they're going to rent all their lives and then take the money out of super to then buy a house in retirement for 2.5 million. That leaves them with 500,000 then to live off for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So it's just thinking about it differently, where they haven't thought about all the steps. They're just looking at, again, Lionel, tax grabs. What's in it for them? As a politician, what's in it for me?
And that's the thing, when you're a politician or a barrister, that sort of falls under that category. But they're exempt from the rules, Matty. They make the rules, but they're exempt from the rules. So they don't.
Shock me.
They want to make the rules to create more revenue for the government, but they don't want to put their pennies inside the actual rule as well and make them count. Because a lot of those guys are on a defined benefit income stream. So if you're the Prime Minister of Australia, for example, and you're earning $300,000 or $400,000 a year, when you leave the government, you get that income stream for life, which gets indexed over time. So that balance of those funds that they have, which is a Commonwealth super income stream, they could be worth $3, $4, $5 million worth of total superannuation balances at that time. But it's a bit, it's like, but they don't want to put themselves into the same category as everyone else because they're not they're not counting themselves for
Correct.
it. So it's a bit like, it's very hypocritical.
Do what we say, not what we do.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. I think the other thing is most people don't understand the tax system of super. So when employers are making contributions, Lionel, we get taxed at 15%. When you have income earnings, or you're getting taxed at 15%. Capital gains, you're getting taxed at 10% inside super. If you die and it goes to an adult child, you're getting taxed at 17% on your taxable component. So there's all these tax mechanisms already within superannuation, which I think they haven't really played out what's about to happen either. So some of those clients that we're talking to, Lionel, you and I, that have got balances over $3 million, they're over the age of 60, they have access to this capital. We're saying, well, let's take some of it out. Let's take some of it out and put it into a different structure where we're not going to get the death benefit tax of 17% to an adult child. And we're bypassing all these taxes that the government would have collected if they didn't put these silly rules in place.
Exactly right. Because if you look at it, if you've got a balance inside super over $1.9 million at the moment and in pension phase, you can have up to between $0 and $1.9 million in a tax-free pension. Between $1.9 million and above, you're getting taxed at 15% on the income component. So it's not like they're missing out.
They've already put these caps in place.
Yeah.
And they're just squeezing the lemon more and more, Lionel, getting more juice out of it, which is crazy, crazy.
So now, Matty, what's the Treasury improving the retirement phase of superannuation, which is the government reforms focusing on the support and structure and not just control. So they're talking about here upgrading tools and education via Money Smart and ASIC campaigns, which I think that's a good idea. More people need to be educated more widely, not just through Money Smart and ASIC, which is a bit of a boring website to go to be honest.
There's an understatement.
They should be going through to the education system and informing people as part of the education system. It's just like mathematics and English. or PDHPE or biology. Why should they teach biology and not personal finances
Or
at
set up
school?
a digital marketing agency that promotes this. Have their
Yeah.
own influencers that are licensed and push them out through your TikToks and whatever else the kids look at these days, Lionel.
Yeah.
But the big one is they're talking about encouragement of income products. Again, like the Gradden Institute, they're trying to put this whole structure around annuity style, which means not taking lump sums out of super. You just get drip fed your superannuation benefits. I just don't like the limited flexibility of it, Lionel.
Yeah, I think it stinks, to be honest, because a lot of the things that I talk about with clients in their first sort of like 10 to 15 years of retirement, we call it your go-go years. And they're the years that you actually want to go places and make experiences with your family and friends and grandchildren and stuff like that.
Yeah, travel, your bucket list.
Yeah, all your bucket list items
Yeah.
and ticking them all off as you go through the first 10 to 15 years to get the real fulfillment out of the last 40 years of slugging it
Yeah.
out as an employee or working or running a business and having risk over your head. Because all mind you, like it's all well and good going to work every day, but at the same time, what are you doing it for?
Correct.
A lot of it
Correct.
is to support your family and build wealth for your family, and also put some money away for retirement. But if you do get to retirement, then you want to have the flexibility to go and use it at your own free will. And all these suggestions and proposals and stuff like this, talking about income stream and drip feeding and minimizing how much money you can take out of it, mate, it stinks from my point of view. I don't like.
Yeah, I think they're playing political football with superannuation, and what it's doing is eroding the trust people have in the system. So we're starting to get questions, you and I as financial planners. Why would I put more money into super for my retirement? Why would I look after my retirement inside super when the government's talking about changing the rules, when the Gradden Institute's talking about this, when Treasury's talking about this, where SBS on Insight, people on that panel were talking about this. So everyone's getting this noise coming through saying it's restricting how we can put money into super, the tax concessions, and also how we can get money out.
Yeah, and now that the pool of funds has become this massive big pool of funds over time, and it's worth $4.129 trillion, now they're starting to take notice of, oh, maybe this is something that we need to get a handle on ourselves, because if we do, we're going to have a lot of benefit out of it. Which,
but yeah, by the sounds of it, more or less the saying the government thinks Australians can't be trusted with their own money, because superannuation's their own money, and they're saying you guys can't be trusted. That's ultimately what all these reports are saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that the government thinks the public, the Australian people, cannot be trusted, and what they're going to do is keep restricting on superannuation side of things, mate. It stinks. You're right. It stinks. It reeks.
It stinks badly. Like it stinks so badly. It's like we've got some sort of purpose or viewpoint with this whole thing, and they're not being very transparent about the whole thing at all. Spending so much money going into all these different reports and stuff like that. When at the end of the day, as part of those reports, do they actually speak to financial advisors who are in the coalface of seeing clients day in, day out, talking about their wealth and how they could generate?
They're too busy beating us up, mate. Too busy beating us up.
They're mummifying us with red tape as well. So
red tape for education, you name it.
Yeah.
So what's the fix then? We found all the problems, Lionel.
Well,
what's the fix, mate?
The fix, if you listen to the problems in the Insight
SBS program
called Super Future, a lot of the things there was educating people about the do's and the don'ts about personal finances, and then superannuation. And educating people and helping people make better decisions earlier on, and educating them on what they can and can't do. But at the same time, it comes down to the discipline of people actually doing it. can they forego a little bit of fun now? Like, for example, one of the guys in that inside program is talking about how he got an inheritance from his mum and dad, and his mum and dad always wanted to go to Ireland. So what did he do? He went to Ireland in his 20s. He worked there for 2 years, blew all his inheritance, and finds himself now on the poverty line because he can't maintain a job and doesn't have a full-time home and stuff like that. When at the end of the day, 20 or 30 years ago, when he had all this money, he could have saved a little bit more money instead of going overseas and bought a house. It's just simple discipline components of life, and people need to take
Delayed gratification as well.
And people need to take responsibility of their own decisions that they have made themselves, whether they are educated or not. If they are not educated, then they need to seek and search for help. And at the same time, the school system can help with it.
I agree, mate. I agree. Teaching 18-year-olds around compound interest or the difference on drawdowns of capital, things
or
like
tax or investments or
tax
or budgeting, simple budgeting, whether it's important to you to spend the money or not to spend the money or
debt, credit cards, buy now, pay later.
Yeah, like buy now, pay later is a massive thing. It's just too freely spent money straight away when then they haven't even got it.
I think the question to the government would be, instead of tightening these rules, why are we not educating our population? Why aren't we educating Australians? That should be the simple question everyone should be asking their politician.
Yeah, there should be a program on TV at 7 o'clock every night, educating the Australian population of how personal finances work. 30 minutes a night for 6 weeks, and you would be amazed on how much information you'd be able to give away to someone.
Yeah.
And they say, and then there's no sort of reason why they couldn't do anything like that. So.
Very good, Lionel. Very good.
So Matty, yeah, it's an interesting topic at the moment. It's top of the industry.
It is.
Industry.
It is, and it's affecting our strategies as well.
Yeah, it's like the saddest thing is, like, as financial planners, we're like young kids. You know what I mean? When you move young kids from location to location to location, they just adapt to what they need to do. They find friends, they play with people, and technically that's what us financial planners do. We adapt to the legislation at the time when it's legislated. We're not going to run off and change everything automatically with the foresight of thinking that maybe it's going to go through. These rules may not even go through, but when they do go through, that's when we adapt, change.
We've already got the strategies and plans in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to wrap it up, super is your money, but the question is, who really controls it? The system's changing, the tax rules are tightening, Lionel. The options or the defaults, they're hardening as well. And I think it comes back to what you're saying around responsibility. If you don't understand how it works, you're giving away your future by default. So I think we need to learn it, own it, and ultimately, Lionel, fight for it, mate. We need to fight for it. We need to fight for it and put a bit of pressure on these politicians about what they're actually doing and affecting our futures.
Yeah. So, Matty, I think we should leave it there for this week's episode. So we hope you've enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like and subscribe to our podcast on all the different podcasting platforms, our Instagram page, our business pages, which is Purpose Planning and also Newcastle Advisors. And also make sure you give it a like and share it to your friends and family if you find this information valuable. And reach out to Matty and I and give us some insight on what you would like to hear on upcoming podcasts.
And a big shout out to Michelle from Instagram, who told us to speak about this topic, Lionel.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. You've been great, and she keeps sending us stuff of information. And she is all over this system. So hopefully we've fulfilled your request of the topic. We appreciate you giving the idea. Bye for now.
Thanks, Lionel.
Cheers.